Hello and welcome to historic Villarreal in the middle of Portugal for the IFMAR large-scale touring car world championships, brought to you by A-Main Hobbies and Samba Exhaust. It's been a fantastic week of action here and we've still got the main final to come. The hills of Villarreal are shrouded in mist this morning, but it was bright sunshine and hot action for the 9, yes count them, 9 rounds of qualifying, of which only one fast is counted. Remarkable, and the only scale that still does this. It was a three-way battle, started off with Emanuele D'Amico of Italy, who took the fastest time in round 1 and held it all the way through to round number 7. In round 8, mighty Markus Feldmann from Germany, the 2013 world champion, snuck in with a fantastic fast run to take FTD, but suddenly in the final round, on the final afternoon, we suddenly saw Alessio Mazzeo, the interloper from Nitro Racing, almost take the pole position, but he actually made a mistake on the penultimate lap of his run when he was on for an FTD. Never mind, because after that we had the fantastic super pole, and it was once again the Italian Alessio Mazzeo who came through by 4 thousandths of a second from D'Amico to take the second automatic entry into the main final. Everyone else is going to have to fight their way through the Christmas tree finals. Now, I have to be honest, we've talked about the top drivers, but this is actually a very, very difficult track to drive. David DeFeo's leading this one, man. Ooh. Whoa! Oh, that's a big one. Past an upside down car 4. Oh, but he's gone big style. Skating rings. I think what's happening is they're pushing a bit further. Whoa, what does it say? Oh! Simple stripe and oh, he didn't want to do that, did he? Oh, that's not gone well. Oh, that wasn't right. Really well did, was it? Oh! Oh! And that's not over here, that's a disaster. So let's have a look at these BMOS. First of all, let's give you a chance to see how big they are. This is me, this is the car, that's massive. Now, the body shell is actually very important on the large scale cars because that's actually what is homologated as such. So, and underneath this is a mechanical marvel. This really is a racing car in miniature. You start with the engine. The engine is a 23cc, 4-5 horsepower. Most similar to a kart racing engine. So you see the racing karts, it's the most miniaturized version of that. And then the bits I particularly am interested in is you have a proper full-on hydraulic braking system. This is the same as you would see. Look, the disc braking system, there's discs in there, hydraulically powered through the servos, so a proper braking system. Now, like every other RC car, you've also got double wishbone suspension, you've got proper very heavy shocks, because I can move them, of course. These are 11 kilograms, these cars, so they're quite stiff. And this is really where the cars are so different from other RC cars. They've got the weight, they've got the momentum, they've got the ability, and then therefore you effectively, if you look at this is a very much more a full-scale racing car in miniature than any other RC class. They are mechanical, you've got a proper limited slip differential, really advanced. And of course the key thing about those is that we mustn't forget, and these are the tyres. They come with grooves, not to remove grip, but actually that enables them to throw away the detritus they pick on the track. And they are solid, but inside a tyre, we've got one cut open from earlier, what you do see is there's a little internal foam padding there which provides that's the fake air for the tyre. But the basic thing about these cars is they're massive, they're heavy, they behave like real cars, and more importantly, they are just fantastic to lean on. No, they are really amazing pieces of kit, and certainly the most similar to a full-size racing car you'll find in the miniature world of RC. So next up is the race to crown the 2019 World Champion. But a couple of days ago, we sat down for breakfast with some former World Champions for a cracking bit of chat, and here's a sneak preview of some of the things they had to say. Hello and welcome to our second breakfast of champions. I must offer you all a croissant. Anyone for a croissant? No, just it.
Yeah.
Some
Thank you very much.
Masami needs the food. And we also have some lovely Nectarpresso. I think it's well known you are the racing dentist, Marcus. I mean, have you ever used any of your dentist drills to do some work on your RC car?
Of course.
Of course, but more or less my dad did always.
Masami, there is a very famous picture of you in front of all your cars and all your trophies. How long did it take to set that picture up? How long and to just get all those cars and trophies together?
You mean for take picture?
Yeah.
How many days?
Yeah.
Okay. 1 day, take off from box, and second day, display, and third day, take photo. Fourth day, in the box. 4 days.
I like large scale because you can actually use a real hammer. I'm very. I mean, it's the size of the tools really. I mean, so I think it's like you can hit things. You can.
It looks like we're all like farmers with big hammers and big wrenches, but it's quite sophisticated. We actually use quite a lot of the same tools on a 110 car. Only we have like an Allen key 3, that's and a 4 maybe.
A lot of people think large scale is just relaxing and for old people, but it came so special, and it splitted so much from the original low speed, easy to drive cars. And I've seen a lot of really good drivers from other categories trying here and fail. So I think this is one special category.
What could be done to make large scale growy? And what do you think is the one thing to make the large scale? Because everyone who comes here seems to have a good time, and it's great to watch, but it's still more niche than some of the other classes.
The competition is in the modern day is Xboxes and PlayStations, and that's what you're against. In the 1980s, none of that existed. If people wanted to go out and have fun, RC racing was a good avenue.
I'm thinking very important to show RC race. So it depends on your side.
It is your fault.
It's all down to me. I see. Oh, fine. So here's the grid for the IFMAR Large Scale Touring Car World Championship 2019 here in Villarreal. In pole, it's mighty Marcus Feldman of Germany. Starting number 2, Alessio Mazzei of Italy, and third on the grid is Bernard Alanaldi of France. Eduardo Repetti of Italy starts 4 with Marko Gric of Croatia in 5th. Maximilian Hornig from Germany starts 6th, and Andrea Catalani of Italy is 7th. It's Portuguese homeboy Nuno Pinto starting 8th, with Marco Weigerdang of Germany in 9th, and the 10th and last starter is Giovanni Verbrugge of Belgium. And they're away, and it's a clean start in the first. Yep, they're all the way clean in, but it's straight in the lead though has gone Mazzei. Oh, and an immediate problem for Feldman. Feldman's hit a body tuck. He's got clipped by Arnaldi. Away has gone Mazzei. I don't know whether we can unclip it, but at the moment it's a terrible start for Feldman. Look at the back of his car there. He's got a massive body tuck, which was instigated really when they just backed themselves up in the first corner. But away goes Alessio Mazzei, the Italian. But it's Feldman who's got the problem with a big body tuck on the rear of the car. I don't think it's affecting anything too much. I don't think it's rubbing on the tyre. And obviously he's got a chance after half an hour to get rid of it again, but it's certainly not affecting his speed because he's now right up behind Mazzei again. But look at the inside Arnaldi there. If it's Repetti's in third. Arnaldi has actually dropped down to 5th. So it's Repetti in third, Hornig in 4th, Arnaldi in 5th. So we can see the one car of Feldman in second place. In third place, it's the 4 car of Repetti as they sweep down in front of them through the. And the other problem for Arnaldi, Arnaldi's getting beaten up in these first few corners. Long way to go. And that tuck, has that tuck undone itself? Yep. So a useful bit of riding over a rough shot, and that body tuck has now gone. And so Feldman's back into performance again. He started slowly. And Alessio Mazzei, the number 2 car, just ahead of him, that orange tail, got past him. But now, battle is joined, and the third car there is the white and the yellow machine of Eduardo Repetti. So it is Italy, Germany, Italy, and looking up the inside there has Feldman got a chance. And it's, you can see them shuffling left, shuffling right, they're looking for a chance. The problem they've got is that unless they get a particularly clean run, they end up on the dirty part of the circuit, and then they can't get any drive. This is a one-line circuit because this new tarmac has opened up, it's released sand rather than grip. And so if you're off that black line, it's very, very hard to get any grip. And of course, these cars are going for an hour. And you see Repetti there as he turned in. Now Andrea Catalani is joining Repetti for making it a 4-way run. Maximilian Hornig fans, I'm afraid he's had an accident, being dropped way back. So this is 1, 2, 3 and 4, and they're close they can be as they go underneath us now and sweep down through the Samba S. Hornig is at the back, but leading it is Alessio Mazzeo with the RS5 behind. The RS5 chassis. Behind is the Mechatech of the 2013 world champion, Marcus Feldman, as the race settles down. 2:35 in. In fact, what's happening now is that suddenly Feldman's under a huge challenge from Repetti, but he got away with it. So Feldman had kind of lost a bit of pace coming out of the corner after timing and scoring. So they sweep away in front of the Rossum through the A main in and the A main out. Suddenly a little bit of drive into there. Repetti lost a bit of drive there. So Repetti in the 4 car now running third. He's getting under pressure from Catalani, the 7 car, and now they're trying to recover from issues. There's second and third, but Repetti now pushing hard. As the A final ticks through. Now the Mazzeo, Alessio, across another line. His lead is 0.8 of a second. Then Repetti we're with is back a further 0.8 of a second, and a further 0.8 behind that is Catalani. So it's all about the ebb and the flow. Catalani seems to have dropped off Repetti a bit. Yeah, so Repetti's now got to Catalani has dropped off in this one. It might almost have been replaced by Arnaldi. Yeah, Arnaldi. Repetti's dropped right off. So Repetti's fallen out of favour somewhere. Not Repetti, sorry. Catalani's fallen out of favour. Catalani's got a missing button, so Catalani's got a problem. Don't know where he's gone. Repetti remains in third. Go to first and second, please, Ash. So, yeah, problem for Catalani. 38-second lap. He had a big issue, so he's dropped out. So we're now left with the leaders here. It's the 2 of Alessio Mazzeo, and then it's the leader, which is so the 1 in second place of Feldman. So getting through to 5 minutes gone. Still 55 to go. They're still very much feeling their way. 2 cars already in trouble. Catalani and Hornig, 2/3 of a lap down after individual mistakes. Repetti third. Arnaldi into 4th now. Oh, nearly. He nibbled up the inside there. Did young Mr. Feldman. So Feldman, the similar looking cars, but the car with a massive amount of orange on it and more white. So the car with no blue, basically. That is the leader, Alessio Mazzeo, and the car with the blue flashings all over it, that is mighty Marcus Feldman, the racing dentist from Germany. So Feldman stalking Mazzeo. They've been coming ebbing and flowing. Mazzeo seems to be leading this one very confidently. We've seen a lot of, in the other race, we've seen the leaders kind of a little bit confused, a little bit upset about things, but at the moment it's all going well for Mazzeo. He hasn't broken Feldman. Now, Feldman himself hasn't really dropped Repetti either. He's still only about a second and a half back. Arnaldi coming back to the field, as is Grich, and Giovanni Verbrugge in 6th. So the top, from 1st to 6th, the gap is about 6 seconds. So still those 6 cars very much in contention. And it's a long way to go, so who knows what will happen next. Pinto's got a problem. Nuno Pinto's is the one, the Portuguese local driver is in fact about to be lapped. So he's just come in with a slight issue, spun in front of us. I think he's suffering somewhere. And his next problem is going to be how to let Alessio Mazzeo and Marcus Feldman pass. And you can see that Repetti is sort of catching up. Now I wonder whether Mazzeo now is controlling the pace. We're all racing towards that sort of 25-minute to 35-minute mark when the mandatory pit stops start. For 90 seconds, you stop and you wait. Oh, what's happened there? I think we'll just get the end of that. Yeah, Mazzeo just drove off the track. No idea what that was all about. The RS5 replay has dropped back into 6th place, but that's remarkable. I have no idea why that happened. He just lost the brakes, made a mistake. I don't know, but that puts our leader now very much. Let's move forward to our leader. So that's underneath now. Car number 1 you want, Ash. There we go. That is Feldman leading. He is now free and clear air for the first time since about the first 2 corners of the race, but he's now got Repetti, who's just absolutely drifted the car in. So drop back to the green number 3 car behind the blue car. This is the battle for third place now between Bernard Arnaldi and Marco Grich, the winners of both the 2 semi-finals. Grich a surprising win, Arnaldi not a surprise at all. So Arnaldi got beaten up over the first couple of laps and dropped down as low as 7th, but he's got himself back up now to 3rd, about 1.7 seconds behind second place Ripetti. In between them is a flash you'll see there of the blue car of Nuno Pinto as a lap down. Alessio Mazzeo, trying to recover from that really weird mistake, is sitting in 5th. So Pinto kind of confusing the issue at the moment by not actually being involved, but actually being in 3rd place. And now letting everyone through. And Grich looking to see if he can make a bit of an advantage out of that. Oh, what happened there? Someone hit the barriers quite hard in front of me. So 3 and 6. Feldman still leads. Ripetti's second. No, what actually happened there was the lead changed completely. Ripetti got through. Unfortunately, there's someone standing in front of me at that point. And what actually happened was the bang I heard was Marcus Feldman coming off the track. And what's happened now is Ripetti's taken the lead. This is another battle for second. Feldman's dropped to 6th. He came off the track. Unfortunately, our view was blocked temporarily there. And this is now the battle for 2nd and 3rd. Feldman is behind Mazzeo in 5th. So it's Ripetti leading. This is 2nd and 3rd. And Grich is absolutely harrying the number 2 car, or the number 3 car of the French champion. Oh, now Grich has lost all drive there. Now he's going to fall into the clutches of Mazzeo, Alessio Mazzeo, who's now back ahead of Feldman after Feldman's uncharacteristic error. So Feldman in 5th. Ripetti's lead is about 2 seconds. So Ripetti's got a 2-second lead on Arnaldi. That was you saw him flashing underneath Rippetti, and then into Arnaldi flashing underneath as well. Now you see Mazzeo. Feldman has dropped back again. So Feldman's got a problem somewhere. Feldman has dropped back for a second time, and he's now down into 7th place after another bad lap. So Feldman suffering quite severely at the moment. I can't even see him. He comes around now. So Feldman's got a problem, and he's made 2 mistakes and cost him 10 seconds. So 10 minutes down, and the early favourite is suffering. The early outsider, Eduardo Ripetti, is leading. So the leader is car number 4. The leader is not car number 4. The leader is now Arnaldi. Arnaldi has got through. Ripetti's made a mistake. So this is now the leader. So basically what's happening off camera is everyone's making mistakes, but they're not being shown. Ripetti's just thrown it off the track as well with a 28-second lap. So sometimes you get all the action on camera. Sometimes it conspires not to be on camera. What we did see, though, was this man, Bernard Arnaldi, take the lead. Just we didn't realise we'd seen him take the lead, but he is now in the lead. So Arnaldi leads. Marco Grich is second. This is 1st and 2nd on the camera right now. It's one of those days where the leaders are just going to throw themselves off and they're not going to care about what happens for us. Just not fair. But we have the leaders with you now in the World Championship IFMAR large scale. Oh, the inside goes Grich. Aggressive. Now Mazzeo is also beginning to bridge the gap back towards BA. So Arnaldi from France leads with a multicoloured car. Then you've got the red and white machine of Marco Grich of Croatia. Then you have the orange and white machine of Alessio Mazzeo. Then Ripetti trying to recover from an issue he had. And in 5th place, it's Marco Vigading, but he's a little bit further back. So 2nd and 1st as Grugic from Croatia tries to then find a way past Arnaldo. Arnaldo did this in the semi-final, just trolled around. The worrying thing for Arnaldo was about half an hour he ran out of tyre. So he's not going to want to do that towards the back end of this, sort of halfway through this race. So we see what he's done to change the car, or whether he'll change tyres. And look up the inside, there goes Gridge, but not quite this time. So Gridge again has a huge amount of speed. This is a very, very fast car. So Mazzeo has been sort of dropped by both of these guys at the moment. Feldman seems to have managed to settle himself after those two mistakes threw him down the track, and he's currently 8 seconds off the lead. You still have 47 minutes to go. Alessio Mazzeo is keeping himself to himself with a watching brief. But this is the battle for the lead, and if one of them does crash now, we will actually catch this one. I heard Feldman's crash. I didn't even see what happened to Rapetti, so, you know, you can only see what you can see. I only have one pair of eyes, despite what many people think about me. There's a chance here to say thank you to Samba and A-Main for sponsoring this coverage. This is our 11th day here, I think, or 5th day, isn't it? And a little bit of an error there, and Gritch drops slightly off Bernard Arnaldi. Mazzeo not really being dropped either, but not really catching up. And then you've got Rapetti, who's kind of in no man's land as well. Weidling a couple of seconds behind that, and then a battle Weidling is having with Verbrugge. But the battle for 5th and 6th is obviously not as important as the battle of 1st and 2nd, as we get close to quarter distance. And I'll be interested to see, once we get to 25, 28 minutes, when people start thinking about making these 90-second fuel stops. They are a standard stop time, so theoretically there should be no gain. But I've yet to see anything implemented into a racing series where there's no gain. So Gritch stays nailed to the back of Arnaldi's car. But the fact about this track is, you see that black line? We can all see that black line. That's where the grip is. If you get off the black line, there is no grip, which makes trying a lunge up the inside or a lunge around the outside incredibly risky. All you can do is try and pressurise the man in front of you to a mistake, which is, when it's Bernard Arnaldi, is unlikely. And just to point out that Rapetti's just made another mistake and dropped back, and he's now just ahead of Feldman. So Rapetti had a bad moment, and he's dropped down now to 6th. Feldman's 7th. Verbrugge is 5th. Weidling is 4th. Mazzeo is in 3rd, just outshot here, and 1st and 2nd are on camera. With half a minute to a quarter of the way. So there's 1st and 2nd nailed together. Alessio goes round, and he is just under a second behind these two. You'll see him there, the orange and white. Gritch looking up the inside as they come round the corner in front of the Ross and sweep by into the A-main in, and then get the drive for the A-main out, and trying a wider wind-up there was Marko Gritch. The Croatian looking to try and gain the speed, and he's going to get the inside. Oh, look at that, what a fantastic move there for the lead. Just suddenly saw the door opened and squidged inside Arnaldi. Arnaldi just let him didn't fight too much. So it's Gritch leading now, and now 1, 2 and 3 are right together, because of course the loss of momentum has meant that now it's a chance for Mazzeo to have a go at the Frenchman, but the certainly not the rank outsider in many ways, which is Marko Gritch, has been superb today, brilliant in the semi-final, now taking the lead in the World Championship final at quarter distance. Long way to go, of course, but he is pulling away. And this is the point where I would think that Alessio Mazzeo in the 2 car, the orange and white car, is beginning to wonder whether he needs also to start pushing his way past B.A. Arnaldi, the Frenchman. Behind them, Weidling, Verbrugge, Rapetti and Feldman. Almost in a line. Oh, and then another problem for Mazzeo as he just misses the drive in some way. So Mazzeo, 2 mistakes now we've seen him make. The problem is that they're on such a fine line between grip and no grip that it just turns on a knife edge, and you suddenly, where you think you've been there several laps before, you're there again, and what happens? You fall off the track. Let's move forward to Arnaldi for a while. I don't think Mazzeo's going to do anything interesting for a bit. So Arnaldi running in 2nd. And in fact, let's move forward to our leader, the all-red Gritch, because he's got some traffic to start fighting with as he comes down the Samba S. We need to see how he gets through those. First bit of traffic is Pinto's going to get his second lap for the second time in 17 minutes. And you can hear Carlos asking him to move out the way, and he does it quite well. And Grich continues his merry way. Leading now Arnaldi by 1.8 seconds. Mazzeo a further 1.3 back. Weidling 2.3. Verbrugge another 1. Ripetti a few hundredths. And then you have Feldman behind Ripetti. Then Catalani, Horning and Pinto. So you're Horning and Pinto out of this so far as the 10 car of Ripetti gets a 10 car of Verbrugge, so gets punted out. So that's going to give a position back up to Feldman, Ripetti and Weidling. They're all moving forward. One, two, three. All have a nice bit of 1, 2, 3, 4 actually have a nice bit of a gap. The battle at the moment is Feldman has managed to get past a bit. So Feldman's up to 5th again. 10 seconds off the lead of this car here. They come under start finish now. All of them now turning laps in the mid to low 23s. Drop back to Feldman, who's going through the Samba S now with the orange and blue car number 1, because he's having a bit of a battle with Ripetti, and there's the two who are closest on the track at the moment, battling over 5th and 6th. Feldman currently in 5th, Ripetti in 6th. Feldman, of course, didn't lead, then he led for a bit, then he fell off the track and then had a second error and dropped himself to 7. Now he's on a recovery drive. And he's taking some risks, you know. He's just riding those curbs. His first target is to try and get back up to Weidling to get to 4th. 25 from a market. Well, Grich made a mistake that last lap, which is interesting. So much so that he is still in the lead, but not by much. So Grich, who had got quite a long way away, had a slow lap that time round, but still has a reasonable lead over. I think actually may have been just getting past traffic. It may have slowed him down. So with the battle between Feldman and Ripetti seemingly over, I'm just wondering now how quickly Feldman can pull up to the backside of Weidling, and the answer is quite quickly in the battle of 5th and 4th. So Weidling is that blue car flashing off screen now, and then you have Feldman. Well, that's how quickly you can get there in about 3 corners. So Feldman now a bit between his teeth, looking to move up into 4th place. As 1, 2 and 3. Now Mazzeo is beginning to close in on Arnaldi. I'll keep an eye on that one, as we're also keeping an eye on what Feldman can do about Weidling. So that's an all-German battle, the Feldman-Weidling battle. Blue car there of Weidling. And we are now at about... Oh, and he's got through. Well, there you go. You look at the other way and just punted him through. So into 4th place goes Feldman. Weidling made that quite common mistake now of drifting wide at the A-main in and getting past. So let's move to what may be the next bit of excitement, and that's going down the main straight now, which is Mazzeo and B.A. Arnaldi, who are right together now at start-finish. So right, this is 2nd and 3rd now, beginning to heat up a bit. No, interesting, just as we said that, Mazzeo lost a bit of time to Arnaldi going through that start of the lap. 21 minutes down, 39 minutes to go. So Mazzeo needs to try and get himself a bit close, because the problem he's got now is he's got Feldman. Look at that, how much he gained. It's amazing how much he gained in just one corner with a minor pico mistake. Well, even pico, just getting off the line, and then he'll get the inside. And that didn't happen that time. Out of the way gets Catalani in the 7 car, which is annoyingly coloured almost exactly the same from a distance as the B.A. Arnaldi machine. But luckily these two are the multicoloured splat of Arnaldi's car and the orange and white of Alessio Mazzeo. France versus Italy. RS5 versus Genius. Chassis are now looking at Mazzeo getting up the run at the inside. About 55 miles an hour they hit at the end of the straight, and there's quite a heavy braking point there because the track just isn't giving you enough lap to fly it through that left-hander at the end of the main straight. I don't know why I think we've seen this lap after lap after lap. Now, interestingly, what is happening is that Grich is getting away. Grich now has a lead of about almost 6 seconds because he is faster than Arnaldi. Whether he's faster than Mazzeo remains to be seen. So Marco Gric leads. This man, Arnaldi, in second. Alessio Masello looks on the outside now. I'm sure he's going to look for the switchback. See if he can find a gap coming in. No, absolutely, that's not happening. Arnaldi saying, no, thank you. I'll take the curbside and you aren't getting past, young man. Feldman's still in fourth, but 7 seconds behind these guys. So it's spread out quite well. We've got a lot of race to go and there's a lot of movement to go, but he's got a long way to make up. Feldman 12 seconds off the lead. Better lap for Arnaldi. Managed to pull a bit of a gap on Mazzeo there. The leader was about 4/10 faster than Arnaldi in that last lap. So Marco Gric is on the verge of becoming a very surprising champion. But the verge is still 37 minutes away and a pit stop. Gric last time round 23.8. Arnaldi goes round 23.7 and a 23.8 for Mazzeo, so no move at all there. Wait for Feldman to complete his lap, and his lap is a 24.4, so Feldman's lost a bit of pace. And it's Weidling, Repetti, Verbrugge, who are still on the lead lap, and the rest have been lapped. So Catalani, Horning and Nino Pinto have all been lapped at least once. And the lead is 5 seconds. So this man is in third. Ahead there is the second place man. It's interesting. It looks like Arnaldi's found a little bit more pace now, because he seems to manage to break what Mazzeo can do. And this Mazzeo himself just taking a bit of a brief respite. 25 minutes down, so entering the realm of when the pit stop may be. Remember, it's a timed pit stop. There's theoretically nothing to be gained or lost by the pit stop. 90 seconds means you take the body shell off, you fill up carefully with petrol or two-stroke, you put the body shell back on, and you carry on going. And it's designed to be fair. Everyone can get the 90 seconds. You're not allowed to change tyres at the same time. You want to change tyres, you're more than welcome to, but it's a separate pit stop. And again, Mazzeo just... I don't know if he's got a brake fade or finger fade, because it's 2 or 3 times now he's just not managed to get the thing stopped. So Feldman won't know that's happened, but he'll be pleased when he finds out, as first, second and third really split up. Let's find our leader, red and white, Gric. He's currently hunting down Maximilian Hornig to lap him for the second time, and he's done that. So this man, unfancied when he came here, unfancied after qualifying, but has found rocket pace. Qualified about 12th or 13th and has found amazing pace in both the semi-final and the final. But then again, this is the day you need to do it. You can be as fast as you like during qualifying, but it's finals day that it counts. And the Croatian, at the moment, has the world in his hands, but at the moment, still has 34 minutes to run. Plenty of things going on. He's about to try and put a lap on Andrea Catalani and Giovanni Verbrugge. Mistake by Arnaldi. He's lost some time there as well. So this is the thing. I'm watching other cars at the same time, and they're all making little mistakes. I'm not seeing these little mistakes from Marco. So Marco, in the 5, the red and white car, well, with a kind of a blue stripe, is looking, and he's, what's going on there? So Gric, so he actually got confused there around the kind of conversation. He actually managed to get past 2 drivers who got stopped. He probably lost a couple of tenths there, but he's got past 2 drivers, so it's a kind of a lap 2 drivers. It's kind of an even Stevens, really. A bit of I think they're trying to let him through and not let each other through, and it just backed down. 7 seconds. It's 6.5 seconds he leads by now. If we turn laps, effectively now what we're doing is we're waiting for the pit stops. We're having a kind of a middle period where everyone's just driving around waiting for the pit stops. Okay, second and third are right back together again, Ash. So let's go to they'll come back in front of you in a second. So sorry, I know they're making a couple of small mistakes, and suddenly Mazzeo, who's also made a couple of small, who's right on him, leads out. He's 6 seconds behind Arnaldi. Mazzeo is 8 seconds ahead of Feldman in 4th. So that's your spread of the top 4. everyone up to Repetti has been lapped now by the leader. Repetti is in 6th. So they are now coming up to Maximilian Hornig in the multicoloured touring car, painted car. And interesting, I don't think very lucky charm for Alessio. As soon as we put him on screen, he starts dropping back away off Arnaldi. Heavy concentration needed for this, because you have to keep the cars on that narrow black line if you want to get anywhere near a lap time that's going to take you near the World Championship. You just saw there, Alessio just slightly missed the... now, is he going to get stuck behind Hornig on the main straight? How's Hornig going to get out of the way? Should go wide here. He does, because almost kind of leans on him for an extra bit of turning force to the left-hand side, going across the timing and scoring corners. Grich still turning now, 24s. Ultimate pace has dropped a little bit in the last section. These cars, he's got past him. So, well, there we are. So, Arnaldi made a mistake, just lost drive, and suddenly into second place goes the Italian. So now in second place, in fact, no, Arnaldi just dropped off it entirely. Arnaldi is, I don't know if Arnaldi is actually in problems here, but he's just lost a fortune of time, Arnaldi. He had one mistake, and then he just had another mistake, and he's dropped 7 seconds in that lap. So Arnaldi's challenge is Arnaldi going to start-finish now, the 3 car. I'm not sure whether he just made a mistake, tyres were dirty, he made a second mistake, or whether he's actually suffering, and whether Arnaldi's got a problem at this point in the race. He can make a pit stop for a fuel stop soon. Yeah, 24.4 after that problem lap where he did the 30. And now Bernard Alan Arnaldi comes up and round. I'll tell you something, nothing. He's being hunted down quite dramatically now by Marcus Feldman. So Arnaldi's lap that time round was a 25.9. So he lost 2 more seconds to Feldman. You'll see that's Feldman flashing in the background. We are getting close to pit stop time though, so I'm not sure whether there's anything they can do about it. Whether Feldman's made a mistake. So Feldman's made a mistake somewhere, because he just seemed to disappear off the back of him unless I missed it. Has Feldman gone in for fuel? Is Feldman making his stop? I think we have the first stop for Feldman. So Feldman's in the pits as far as I can tell. We'll get a big M. Mazzeo's in the pits as well. So Mazzeo and Feldman are both pitting. Grich has got a confused round Verbrugge. They take them off the pit lane to pit. You can go a bit wider, Ash. So they just sit around. We'll carry on going with our leader. There he is. Pick up our leader. And we'll wait. It's a 90-second pit stop where they're just taking body off and putting fuel on. It's not exactly an action-packed 4-second nitro stop. So we'll let them do their thing. And just remember, the stagger is unwinding. Arnaldi's in the pits as well. So we've got 3 of the cars in the pits at the moment. They'll actually, on the screen, I'm pretty sure if you're watching on RCM, it'll think they've retired. But they are, in fact, now. As Vidling also it looks like he's in the pits as well. The one car that stayed out so far and now has a many-lap lead, as the others are doing their 90-second pit stops, is Marco Grich, who's now just trying to get past Pinto. There's only about 3 cars going round at the moment. This car goes very quiet now, as most cars are stopped at the same time. Don't worry if you're watching RCM, these cars haven't retired. They are doing their mandatory 90. Oh, and Grich has thrown the thing off the track. He's thrown the thing off the track. I'm not sure what it is. Just got a massive tanky on there. And that's, basically that's just time he's thrown away. Got away with it slightly at that point, but I'm not sure that was just a mistake, whether he got a call, which he missed. He does need to come in for fuel. He's been going 31 minutes. Unfortunately, we're getting a crowd in front of our window at the moment, making things a bit more difficult. The grid is running very, very long. Still waiting for the other drivers to start re-emerging. I think they are now re-emerging from their pit stops. Catalani's back out. Arnaldi's back out. Quite surprised that Feldman's not come back out. Grigic hasn't stopped, hence the reason he's got a 3-lap lead. Verbrugge's back out, Feldman's back out. You see where they all line up now. I think Feldman may have stayed longer than most. Oh, another mistake for the Croatian as he now comes in for his 90-second pit stop. we'll just take the first half of this in, lifting up, body out, and it does mean that in second place at the moment it's Alessio Mazzeo, so I don't know where the car 2 is. So the leader now, well not leader, the running car at the front is Mazzeo in the 2 car, about to go over start finish now. So Mazzeo leading at the moment. Well, he's not leading, he's trying to now catch up the laps he lost to Grgic while Grgic was having a few pit stops. So Pinto now is in the pits as well. Most people back out the pits again. It's slightly confused the timing system, to be honest. Now, I'm not quite sure how long before Grgic comes out again. Mazzeo still isn't on the same lap as Grgic was. He's in front of him. He's got Giovanni Verbrugge, who's also up and running again. Feldman definitely, I think, had a longer pit stop than the others because he's still looking a lot further down. So I think Feldman actually couldn't get his pits done in 90 seconds. So Mazzeo goes past. Still waiting to see Grgic re-emerge. Feldman definitely actually had a longer pit stop than he should have done. So I think that pit stop, which is supposed to not bother anybody, may actually have effectively stymied the German. Now Grgic is out and running, and I think he's still leading by about 3 or 4 seconds. So Mazzeo will go around the corner now. I can see that Grgic is up and running again. Grgic is up and running again. He's just coming into this, and he's now crossing the line now, and Mazzeo crosses the line now. So it is Grgic from Mazzeo. Mazzeo's got to get Pinto out the way, and Pinto is out the way. Mazzeo is second. It's Weidling who's come out of that in third. Alnaldi in fourth. Feldman, a massive loser out of this petrol stop situation. Alnaldi's car looks like a bag of spanners on the track. Feldman lost a whole lap in the pit stop environment. So Feldman's a lap down behind Verbrugge, behind Rapetti, behind Alnaldi, behind Weidling. And as you can see, it has become a bit of a 2-horse race between Mazzeo and Grgic. And Grgic is off. Mazzeo's in the lead. Mazzeo's taken the lead. So Grgic has come back out again, and they just lost the track entirely. So he's come back out again. The car's not doing what he wanted to do, and he's now dropped down into second place. So finally we've got a change of lead on the camera. Fantastic. So this is Grgic. He's got to try and work the thing back up again. I think he's just I'm not sure what happened with the tyres have got cold. They are the same sets. They've done half an hour already, or 35 minutes nearly. So the fuel stop didn't do what it was supposed to do. It's supposed to be a neutraliser. It's supposed to be like everyone come in and do the same thing. What basically happened is it was absolutely right for Mazzeo and this man here, Grgic. Grgic made 2 mistakes whilst he was doing his laps on his own, and his big lead went down to 2 seconds, which is about right. And now he's made another mistake with warming the tyres up, and Mazzeo's in the lead. However, Feldman lost a lap, and he's not going to come back from that in 25 minutes, that's for sure. So Grgic is second. Third place is on the same lap, but it's Weidling, and he is back by about 12 seconds. So you've got a 2-horse race. It's this man trying to catch up Alessio Mazzeo, and at the moment Mazzeo is about 0.4 of a second a lap quicker. So Grgic, who's very, very, very quick, needs to get his brain back in gear. He has got the ground speed if he can replicate the car. In fact, if you look at it now, he's now right getting close back to Mazzeo again. So they're now Mazzeo had a bit of a less good lap this time, and Mazzeo himself been inclined for the odd error. So 24 minutes to go. This is first and second in the World Championship final, the IFMAR large-scale touring car final, brought to you by RC Racing TV in association with Samba Exhaust and A-Main Hobbies. My name is Nick Damon. To my side is Matt McCallum, and just on the camera work is Ash Leontine. And we're just looking up the inside there. And if you are joining us for the first time this weekend and watching on YouTube, can I ask you very kindly to subscribe to our channel and press the bell to get notifications, because then you'll know whenever we go live, and that's not always when you think it's going to be. So subscribe, press the bell. This helps keeps this free. You're watching this for free, and watching it for free because of our reach, convincing sponsors to back us, and to get a bigger reach, we need to have more subscribers. That's my plea to our viewers over. Let's look at the action again, and in that time, Grgic made a move, lost out a little bit, went wide, but first and second now nailed together, coming into the A-Main in. And the A-main out. You can see Grigic really has got either he's driving that way or he's got a more active front end as he tightens it right up. Weidling still third, Arnaldi fourth, Repetti fifth, Verbrugge sixth, Feldman seventh. But Feldman lost a lap in the petrol stop, don't know how. And look at that, Grigic is as close as he can be. Came out after the pit stop. Car took a while to get his head back round how the car was feeling with an extra 600 or 700 grams worth of fuel in it, and also the tyres had cooled down and probably picked up some gunk as they came into the pits. So he's now running. He came in later than Mazzeo. Mazzeo came in pretty much on the half hour, whereas Grigic ran to about 32 minutes. And now we are at 38 minutes, 22 to go. So Mazzeo, the Italian, the former European 1/10 Nitro champion. I can't remember when he won it. It was about 5 years ago in Italy. I know Ollie was commentating. That's about it, really. And Grigic now, obviously, the whole world's watching this battle. So the last thing he can do is make a lunge. He's going to have to make it fair, whatever he does. And Mazzeo himself, who was driven very, very well, apart from like 2 or 3 times, he hasn't missed his braking point, or the brakes haven't done what he expected them to do. He just overshot mostly the bottom corner, which is the one at the end of this short S bend, this Samba S. This corner here, Mazzeo's overshot it on 2 occasions. Whoa, and there he got a nasty glitch there, didn't he? The car twitched away from him and the nose wiped slightly out. Another lap completed, and the pressure on Mazzeo is intense. I think probably the level of the pressure is high, but because you're still quite a long way from the end of the race, you can still sit yourself in a rhythm and think, right, I'm defending. It's just between the two of us now. No one else is really going to. Arnaldi, by the way, has just picked up third from Repetti. Weidling has dropped down to fifth. So it was, Arnaldi's third, Repetti fourth, Weidling is fifth. But there's a huge gap between Arnaldi. Arnaldi's 16 seconds behind Marco Grigic, who's MAR on our screen for some reason, because of the way that they load the names in this system, unfortunately. So Arnaldi is not really going to get involved. Oh, and Grigic is looking up the inside there and thinking about it. They are running about the same speed. 23.6 these guys did last lap, and Arnaldi 23.7. This time it's 23.8, 24.1. Grigic just dropped off a little bit, as you can see, but he'll catch that right up in a couple of laps. As Alessio I would think, just concentrates on running the line. And the line's really easy to see. It's that black line. That black line is really easy to see. And that's where you need to stay if you want to be the European champion. Will be the world champion. As Grigic now gets back up closer to the rear end of Mazzeo. Mazzeo with the orange and white, Grigic with the red and white. You can have both cars in frame, Ash. Oh, wait a minute! Oh, that's not going to get. That one again. You have to wait. Obviously, that's what again. So Grigic just made an absolute paggering attack on that one. He's getting applauded for waiting. Well, I think if he hadn't waited, he would have got to stop and go. So, not sure if I'd actually necessarily applaud that move of waiting, because he had no choice. But he went for it and really got it quite badly wrong. But no harm, no foul. But the good news will be for BA Arnaldi, as they've dropped 3 or 4 seconds. If Arnaldi can make up 3 or 4 seconds, he'll be able to close the gap. And this is his chance, really. If these two can slow themselves up enough for him to make up the 9 seconds he's now behind, it's a chance for Arnaldi to perhaps get himself back into play. Obviously, he's in the bottom step of the podium at the moment, but he's a former European champion. He wants to be on the top step of the world's podium, and that's going to take a bit of help. It's going to take help from these two guys. Both names, which 2 months ago would not have featured on anyone's prediction for leading this race. Alessio Mazzeo, because no one knew he did large scale. Marco Grigic, because of all the Europeans, he's not one of the ones who particularly thinks it's going to happen. But they're right back together again now. Come around the top corner. It is a universal truth in racing that it is easier to follow than to lead. And he's got through. He's got through him. It just that 4th time now that Mazzeo just not got the breaking point of that corner right, and almost sent out some balloons in an invitation to let Grigic through. So this is the key thing. Can Grigic now pull away? He's got a good 2 or 3 second lead because after Mazzeo went offline, he had a dirty tyre and had to clean them back up again. So that was a 3 second loss in that race to Mazzeo. So Mazzeo now needs to find some speed. This happened to Grich last time. Grich, in the first half of the race, once he got ahead, he was never headed again, and he was able to pull away from everybody. But he was pulling away from Arnaldi, and Arnaldi was kind of slowing up Mazzeo. Mazzeo's going to need to start pushing, and when you start pushing on this track, things can often go wrong. That time round, 23.8 plays 24.1, so 0.3 more of a gain for the Croatian in the red and white car. This is the second place man. The gap down to Arnaldi still hasn't been clicked through because Arnaldi's a long way back, and it's actually now 12 seconds. Arnaldi's had his own errors, and he's 12 seconds back. So Mazzeo is, there we are, that's the red car of the leader. So they've all been sort of in the same shop at some point. Mazzeo picked 0.2 back up, but he's got to try and make up almost exactly 2 seconds. That's how far off he is. That's about a third of a mistake, or half a mistake at most. So that's what we've got with 16.5 minutes to go. Sorry, just shy of 17 minutes to go. Grich goes round. That time in a 23.6. Mazzeo did 24.4. I'm not quite sure where 0.8 of a second disappeared to. But Mazzeo, at this point, really needs to concentrate on trying to find the speed, but it's looking like he's 2.6 back. Grich looks confident now. He's got the car up and running again. That time round for Grich was a 24.1. He's a little bit occluded by 24.1 as well from Mazzeo. So Grich has got a bit of traffic. He's just gone past Horning. Mazzeo, 2 or 3 corners back. Will also meet Horning soon. Arnaldi's in third. He's got a 2 second lead over Rapetti. Rapetti is then right next to Weideling. And then you have Verbrugge and Feldman. Feldman, who was doing okay, not brilliantly, until the pit stops where he appears to have lost a whole lap. The cars sweep through. That time round, a 1/10 of a second was gained by Mazzeo. It's got 15.5 minutes to go, which is still about 40 laps. So there's plenty more roundy circulation to try and catch up. That time he made 0.7 of a second. So Grich got a little bit squirrely on one of the corners, and the lead has gone down to 1.8 seconds. I just see, Mazzeo's now really going for it. He just rode up on top of the corner in an attempt to try and make up the gap. And it looks like Marco Grich, whom I'll be absolutely honest with you, I've never met, and I don't know what he looks like. So so he wins this, I'll have to go to the person who's got the trophy, because up to that, Marco, it's a bit of a fairy tale story. Unknown man, great chance of winning the Worlds. Mazzeo now looking to deal with Horning, and he has gained no loss, a 1/10 of a second there. So Mazzeo, whose Achilles heel has been that corner at the bottom of the Samba S, which he's 3 times overshot, and it's always cost him dearly. So Alessio, who's doing this for a bit of fun, but I think at this point, with 15 minutes to go, he's doing it because he wants to become world champion. Tucking in and out. Everything to play for. Gap still just 2.4 seconds. Mazzeo. Let's pick up with our leader, Ash, the 5 car, who's actually lost some time in this lap. That's noticeable. And the gap, it's gone down by 0.8 of a second. So, not quite sure what happened to Grich there. I mean, maybe they're running on quite old tyres now, so who the heck knows what may happen from lap to lap. But as you can see, Mazzeo now, who just lost a tiny bit of time there, actually just on that corner, suddenly pinged in, and the gap went down to 1.4 seconds. So it's Mazzeo definitely now, obviously because we've stopped focusing on him, is now able to move himself towards Grgic. So Mazzeo and Grgic back in the same frame again. So trying to get past Pinto. Pinto stops nicely, but I think he may slightly have blocked Grich more than he blocked Mazzeo, as they both run together. Just running up the main straight now. The lead was last time round just 0.9 of a second. I think it's maybe even less now. The drive off the line, 23.6. No, it's just gone up by a tenth actually. Just looked a bit less at that point. There's a couple of the four. Oh, and he's got a tank slapper on. That's it. Oh, it's changed again. And then Mazzeo got a tank slapper. Wow. So they both made a mistake. In the excitement of getting past Gridge, he then overshot the corner and himself. And in fact, what's actually happened is Mazzeo suffered more than that because his tyres got dirtier than Gridge's tyres. So was that the chance? There's 12 minutes. I'm sure there'll be another one. But with 12 minutes to go for, I would say, about a yard there. That's a metre in metric terms. Mazzeo was in the lead. And then it all went wrong again. So it's back with Gridge again. So Marco gained 0.6 of a second that lap. And then I think it's really a case now whether Mazzeo has managed to get his tyres back clean again. They both shoot at the top of the straight there. Turn round and back. And that time round it's 0.2 back from Mazzeo. So Mazzeo now, he's able to take a couple of tenths out every now and again, but Marco's got a comfortable lead now. He's got more than the squirrely moment of lead. It's 1.3 seconds. Mazzeo needs to try and find 3 or 4 more tenths, I think, just to start putting the pressure back on. And there is some pressure coming because they're about to catch up some more traffic. Rapetti now is in third. Arnaldi has dropped to fifth and Vitaling fourth in the less interesting battle behind these two. And it looks like a good lap, I think, so far for Gridge. I think Gridge has definitely gained a little bit here. Just tipped the edge there. I'm not sure he was able to get full drive there because he tipped the curb. Pretty certain he's gained this lap. I've been wrong before. But no, he's gained by 0.2 of a second. And he's had a bit of a wobble coming out of the inner thing, but I think he's got away with it. Double snap on the front end. 4 cars. There's a 4-car train in front of them. One of those cars has already fallen off the track. I think it was Catalani. And now they're coming up to... so the leader is coming up to lap Giovanni Verbrugge. Greenwich now has Verbrugge in front of him. He's managed to get away from quite nice from Mazzeo. Made a big gain on Mazzeo in that last lap. Verbrugge, suddenly realised there was a person he needed to not get in front of behind him. And this traffic so far working well for Marko Grinic of Croatia. The red and white car definitely finding his way through the traffic way better than Mazzeo, who's dropped a little bit off and also has 2 cars to get past. Bad lap for Mazzeo, very bad lap, 24.9. And the lead goes out to just shy of 3 seconds. That's the best lead he's had in this second half of the race since the pit stops. 10 minutes to go. This is a difficult 10 minutes. They're now putting 50 minutes on these tyres and they've never had to really put more than half an hour on them. 23.7. Plays 20 again. Another half second off by Mazzeo. Mazzeo's pace has melted away at the moment. It's unknown territory for Mazzeo. I don't think he's ever done, he's certainly never done an hour final in a large scale car. And Marko Grinic, the unfancy Croatian, looking like he might do something special. Lost a few tenths there around that corner. Oh, exactly the same as Mazzeo did behind him. Mazzeo's had another bad lap. Mazzeo's suffering at the moment at exactly the wrong moment. So Mazzeo is now dropping off by 5 seconds. So the Mazzeo attack is disappearing. Now 9 minutes to go. It's very much about can Marko Grinic just keep it on the island. Mazzeo slowly fades away. Another 25, now 1.3 seconds. I'd say that Mazzeo's tyres are shot. And it looks like the bid of the Italian is falling apart as well. Losing a second a lap. So Mazzeo just saw Marko Grinic overtaking. And Mazzeo put himself back in the pack again there, but he's had a couple of bad laps, Mazzeo, and he's just dropping away. Whereas Grinic has managed to keep this up despite going through a huge amount of traffic. Some other action going on here as well. I mean, Grinic's not now being annoyed by the car behind him, which is Arnaldi. Arnaldi, who he lapped a while ago, so I think Grinic has also had a bit of a dodgy... Oh, what's going on here? And now he's suddenly got way more speed than Grigic, but he's a lap down. So, odd. 24.7. And it's a never-changing ebb. It's gone back the other way by 0.8 of a second. So I think a couple of them now are struggling with cars which really aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. But Arnaldi is kind of getting involved in this when he shouldn't be annoyed. He can unlap himself. Who knows? It may be that Grigic has a nightmare and he can make the whole lap round in the remaining 7 minutes. If the tyres go right off, you are in strife of epic proportion. So this is a battle. This is not actually a battle for anything apart from pride in many ways, because Arnaldi's a lap down. Grigic has been struggling a little bit on these old tyres. The gap is now 3.9. So he's come back from its maximum gap to Mazzeo of 5 seconds. Weidling's third now. Arnaldi's actually fourth. He's not even in third. So I suppose in many ways he does want to get past Grigic. He wants to have a chance to get at Weidling. As the 4 car of Rapetti has a major problem. I think there are a number of cars now who've run out of tyre. And they are all, what was a knife edge to begin with on this track is now a double knife edge. So it's like a slicing knife edge. The knife edge of knife edges. The sword of Damocles and a knife edge. As Grigic turns in, he's been left alone by BA at the moment. And that's a better lap again. So he managed to settle it down, get the thing on the island. And the lead goes out to 4.2 seconds. So Marco almost turns it on itself there. At this point, Grigic is the only enemy he's got is himself. If he can keep it going and point the way he wants to do, I don't think that Alessio's got the basic ground speed to catch him up. Mazzeo, though, is pretty comfortable in second. He's almost a lap ahead of third. And I'm sure he'll take second as a good result for a bit of fun event. But Marco Grigic is about to become, or has the chance to become, a world champion. Oof, saying that, he was backing that thing in. You are literally one missed finger pulse of breaking away for a disaster on this chap. He has now got himself a 4.5 second lead, which is enough for one minor error. A bit like the one he made earlier and got away with because he then stymied Mazzeo himself. It's coming under the darkness of the shadow. The shadow's lengthening now at 18 minutes past 4 Portuguese time here. 5.5 minutes to go in the IFMAR large-scale touring car world final from Villarreal in Portugal, brought to you by Samba Exhaust and Main Hobbies. We're RC Racing TV. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell, because that keeps us going, and we've got a lot more for you next year. We may, if everything goes well, we could be covering 4 World Championships, but who knows? That'll depend on the support we get from you guys. We don't want your money, we just want your subscriptions and your bell pressing. So Grigic now is under 5 minutes, and he is 4.2 seconds ahead. Just taken Weidling, so just lapped up the third. So he lapped the third place man a second ago. He's got more traffic. Got Nuno Pinto, who's really enjoying himself in the final, but he's not really had the pace of the rest of the pack. So Weidling 4.5 minutes from a world championship. Took a bit too much curb there, got away with it. 24.1. Mazzeo comes across in a 23.9. The gap is 4.3 seconds. It's, you know, it's Mazzeo made a little mistake there as well. It's not like, you know, he's been hunted down by someone who's nailed the track. They're both fighting the constantly changing and reducing amount of grip as the cars sweep round in front of our position and go down to where Ash is at the far end. Ash picks them up and they drive all the way through. So Marco Grigic 4.4 seconds ahead with 3 minutes 40 to go. Just misses the apex, not a major thing. 24 flat. So they kind of settled into the 24 flat level. In fact, Alessio was faster there by 0.07 of a second, and up on 2 wheels goes Alessio, and that's, you know, this is the problem. I can tell you what Alessio's doing. It's just he's doing the best he can. He's doing a great job. He's going to come second, but it's very much a case that unless it gets thrown at the boondocks in the next 3 minutes 15 seconds by this man, Marko Grigic of Croatia, he is going to be a surprise world champion, which is always a nice thing to have. No one likes predictability. I'm sure there's going to be some afters though. Marcus Feldman particularly is going to want to know how he lost a lap in the pit stops. If I'm honest, I don't think Marcus had the pace in the second half of the race to win it anyway, but he's going to be pretty annoyed that something's gone wrong and he lost a lap there. Grujic now has to come past Verbrugge. Is that Verbrugge in? Yeah, for the second, another time. And Mazzeo had a problem himself a lap ago. So 2:32 to go. The lead is 5 seconds as Marko Grujic comes up and around and ticks another lap. So he's got about 6 or 7 laps left to win the World Championship. Obviously, he's got 6 or 7 laps to throw it away, but Mazzeo now dropping a little bit back off him. Can't quite keep up with the pace of the Croatian. Again, just to say, he didn't show anything in qualifying. I think he qualified 12th or 13th and was 6th in the qualifying position for his semi-final, but he just had blistering pace today. Showed what he had, won that final, started I think 4th in this one, slower than Arnaldi over half an hour, but he just carried on moving forward, just found that pace the whole time. Starting to thrippingly bit the corners, but then he's probably running on canvas now of the tyre. 5.6 seconds ahead last time round. It was a 24.7, it was a slightly slower lap, but Mazzeo's not going to go much quicker, 24.4, 24.3, so 4 tenths, but it's still a 5 second plus lead for the Croatian. Minute and 16 to go. And we are getting right down to the business end of this last few seconds. There's a minute left. So with a 5 second lead, a 5.2 second lead for Marko Grujic, the red and white machine with the Sambor exhaust, good to know, as he comes round the corner. And we are now getting close to the last minute. He's got this lap and he's going to start his last lap now because there's less than 25 seconds, 24, 23. It's his last lap, so unless he throws it off this time, Marko Grujic will become the 2019 large-scale touring car world champion. Mazzeo starts the last lap as well. They've both been caught, but this is going to be just a few more corners. You just got to go, just not throw it off at the final corner coming up. Effectively go slowly as you like, Marko, because you are going to become the world champion. Marko Grujic is going to be the world champion. Grujic takes it. A great victory for Grujic. He's taken it. What a victory for the man. That is some fantastic stuff. He takes the plaudits. He takes the congratulations, and Marko Grujic is the champion. There's the trophy. With Marko Grujic, the new world champion. Marko, we're very surprised you won. Are you surprised you won?
A bit, because sincerely and honestly speaking, I had confidence about the race, but I knew that I'm competing against a European champion. I'm competing against ex-world, ex-European champions and top drivers from 10 years ago. But I had confidence that I can do something. And I waited for my opportunity, and it came, and I'm really, really happy to be first.
It was noticeable that in qualifying you weren't very high up, you were 12th, but when you got to the longer races, the car was super quick. Was that what you were always working towards?
Yes. The same thing happened in FRGP in Zagreb. I knew that after qualifying, my race pace should be among top. Unfortunately, I was very nervous in qualifying. Yes, it was my mistakes, and I could not qualify up more. But then when the semi-final came, I just knew I had the chance and I go for it maximum, and this was it.
How difficult was the race for now? Because I'm looking at the tyres now and they're completely coned. I take it the car must have been very different at the end of the race than it was at the start.
The First time I felt the car changing was about 20-25 minutes into the race, but I learned how to accommodate to the conditions and it was okay. But the tires lasted perfectly and the grip was pretty much constant everywhere, each corner, and I think we won the jackpot with tire choice.
So the World Championship has been decided and the top step has Marco Gric on it. Thank you for watching and thank you to Samba and A-Main for sponsoring this event here for the IFMAR Large Scale Touring Car World Championship in Portugal. We've had a great time. Hope you enjoyed watching. Look at the lovely weather. We're back next year with more IFMAR World Championships.